Yeah, that's what we're having.
Can I suggest that we make sure that we schedule this once the newly elected board comes in, so we have the board that's going to deal with this for the next however long, and take Supervisor Wales out of the picture, so to speak? I think that would be fair to everyone, because that decision maker, whoever that will be at that special meeting then.
It's up to the board to decide how they wanna schedule. My thought was, much like the ATV usage, is something that you want to put on for the annual meeting to be discussed.
Would be my suggestion. That's April.
April.
April 15th, I believe.
I think that would work, everyone will be here then, right?
Well,
The
but,
elected chairman, or whoever person.
but,
We can take a vote on it and we could put, you know, 3 options.
Right.
Ban, no ban, regulation, whatever, and see what the majority of the people come. And if we have to move the annual meeting to the fire district, we can approach the fire district to see what we have there.
Agree with that. So,
Just adding it to the annual meeting
right,
agenda.
and then having the follow-up,
For public
The vote
comment.
would be advisory of the constituents,
is
would be
there,
advisory, and then at the next meeting,
you may,
we would address that advisory vote.
but what about hearing from all the people and hearing the rest of the presentations?
They can do that at the annual meeting.
At the annual meeting? Yeah, but there are a lot of people
Let's
here
start at
that would like to present.
The annual meeting is generally pretty brief agenda,
It's the electors meeting.
and that's where all the electors can join us and hear all of the opinions.
We had a lot of opinions on the ATV as well.
from what day was that?
April 15th, I believe.
And you're not
Like
gonna,
you said, we could accommodate physically.
We can start earlier, we set it at a 6:30 time, but if we give enough notice, we should be able to look at that. Is it 6 the start time?
It is the 15th.
April 15th, always the third Tuesday.
The electors pick the date and time as well.
Okay, then we have to start at 6:30. And we would start at 6:30, no matter how many people are in line. Yeah.
We could swear in office.
swearing in of officers and
No, it's.
At the annual meeting.
The ceremonial swearing in is at the annual meeting.
Well, I'll make a motion that we schedule a special town board meeting on enhanced wake surfing for the April 15th annual meeting with the electors.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? I'm wondering if there isn't some way to have the meeting a little bit sooner so that the information can be digested. I think it would be important to,
I don't think that's fair to the next person that's gonna be the chairperson.
Okay.
You know, I think that person, whoever that's gonna be, needs to hear everything
I,
as well.
And the fully elected
It's
board.
gotta be, it's gonna have to be a roll call vote, I assume, and that
Absolutely.
person needs all the information they can get.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant moving the annual meeting.
no, I did not.
You wanna vote?
Yeah, I have a motion and a second. Let's vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. I'd really like to see it sooner so that people have time to absorb all the information. I think it would be somewhat challenging to make a decision after being bombarded with so much information, but that's my opinion.
But the town board won't make a decision
We're not gonna
at
make a
the annual meeting.
No, I understand that, but I just think that even to vote one of the three options might be somewhat complicated when you're bombarded with so much information.
Well, we're gonna put the vote, this is just gonna be a discussion, right? You don't have a vote.
Advisory,
Vote.
that's
We don't have a vote that night.
No, you're not.
The elected.
We're not voting on it, we're asking
Oh,
the
the elected.
Our electors also.
I think they probably have their
Um,
opinion, right?
Further letters and opinions are always welcome. I've received many, I've thanked people and forwarded them to you all. So, they can keep coming.
Okay, we had a vote, the vote was 3-1, the motion carries. We will set the meeting for the next wake vote enhanced, informational meeting for 6:30 at the, on April 15th.
At the firehouse, if
If
it's
we can-
available.
Yeah. Check that.
And the annual meeting is always in paper two times. Right. Be on the website, posted in a few locations. We do our-
The only other thing that you might consider doing is having that special meeting sooner, where they make their presentations, it's all recorded, so then constituents can listen to that, and still have public comments then at the annual meeting, so that they have had time to review what the different organizations have presented. So have the special meetings as here, where everything is.
There's already
Yeah.
approved motion.
But thank you very much.
The only other suggestion is if those three different groups or whatever did their own tape presentation on the website.
That's not true.
And then people can look at and review them on the website and do their homework.
Kind of, would we wanna review that before?
I would think so, and the
Putting it
board
on
would have the
our
vote whether or not they want to approve that going on the town's official
They put
website.
it on their own websites.
Yeah.
Right.
Then would they notify the town that they have done such and we could promote it either
No.
via the
No, they
Facebook?
promote themselves.
Okay. Just checking. Any other comments? Thank you, board, for voting on that. All right, no comments then tonight on wake voting. We will take comments on April 15th. Anybody that wants to comment, please, join us. Please be advised, we're now into item number 9, public comments. Please be advised that per state statute 19.84 sub 2, information may be received from the public. Comments are limited to a 4-minute period per person. Be further advised that there will be no discussion on the information received and no action will be taken regarding the public comments. Upon conclusion of the citizens participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed further comment unless they are participating in a public hearing or specifically allowed by a majority vote of the town board due to involvement in a specific agenda item. Thank you very much for your participation.
I have a question for the board.
Public comments. Public comments?
I wanna go.
Try and sneak in extra time,
2 minutes.
4 minutes.
I just have a quick question, just in regards to the wages.
Is that ordinance gonna be a town ordinance, or is that gonna be specific to like?
We haven't discussed that.
don't even know if there's going to be.
That would be important to know that town ordinance is just gonna be specific to the order. Yeah. So in fact, it's a lot of time.
Thank you.
Anybody else with public comments? Come on up and come to the podium.
Alright, I'd like to make a comment here, regarding what happened, this afternoon. Down on the shore near Lindy's.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Is the meeting still going on, so you guys can go outside and discuss whatever you need to discuss? And the door needs to be outside. If you guys need to talk, you guys go outside, because they're still having a meeting. You guys are discussing. Yeah, you guys can go sit in the corner. We're gonna watch.
I did.
Talking in here.
3 minutes, 35 seconds.
You have to look for that.
Hey guys, the meeting's still going on and we're trying to listen to the end of it. If you could clear out, it's taking up a bit of the time.
Nice teacher voice.
Okay,
Either of those, please.
so I don't know how many of you are aware on the board here that there was a dangerous situation down by Dockside and Lindy's. There was a gentleman that was taking his ice shanty out on the lake with his four-wheeler side by side, and he plunged through the ice. Now, I got a report, I made a call to somebody who was actually out on the ice fishing when I called earlier this afternoon. And he told me that there's 12 inches of ice on Lake Beulah. So if you go out to the middle of the lake, you wanna fish, you gotta drill through 12 inches of ice to get to the water. Well, over by the shore, by Lindy's and Dockside, there is 1 inch to 2 inches of ice over there. And that's why this guy fell through. He thought he had good ice to go out, but it wasn't the case. The reason we're experiencing that by Lindy's is because of the sewer line that's in the ground there that goes 2.5 blocks to the north, and catches everything that's put on the road as far as salt goes, brine, anything that is a de-icing agent that's put on the road is going into the lake and making the lake ice near that sewer unsafe. So I'm not asking them to have something instantly happen, but maybe we could just change what we treat the road with in that immediate area so that we don't have people falling through the ice and possibly drowning or anything like that. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Cheadle and 9080, County Road, yes. I was down there when the gentleman went through. Like, the outfall for the sewer has absolutely nothing to do with it. The wind had opened up the channel of ice. There was approximately 6 to 8 feet of solid ice because it's frozen to the bottom. I walked out on the ice, I took pictures of the outfall. The lake level's below the outfall. And it's froze solid all the way up to the channel. It's just a section of wind that blew it over 3 bar last week.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Joe Jones, and, he's here. I wanna address.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not addressing Wake Wilkes, I'm addressing the special meeting. Can I do that? Sure. Okay, alright, that should be you, sorry. I can't look at all of it again. So what I'm focused on is solving complex issues at the board level. And I debated whether to come up after seeing some of the cooperation going back and forth, but then I saw there really isn't any cooperation, collaboration going on. So so I'm gonna offer this anyway for your consideration. This coming June will make 3 years I've been attending town board meetings, and I've watched countless neighbor squabbles and special interest discussions come before the board. The role of the town board is to be a catalyst to bring all sides together on any controversial topic and force them to drive it to a mutually agreeable solution for all, if possible. Not always possible, I understand that. If they cannot reach mutual resolution on their own, then the board could help facilitate the process. A committee is a great way to tackle these challenging topics, and I'm suggesting the board use this tool to handle these difficult situations. The board should carefully and deliberately consider the selection of an odd number of individuals for the committee to ensure overall neutrality. On the committee, there should be individuals representing all stakeholders, those for and against the issue, depending upon the topic, the police chief possibly, and private citizens that have no interest in whatever the topic is, so that you get a fresh level perspective. I advocated for a public hearing last month, but I am going further this month. I feel strongly that the board should establish a committee to study the damage to lake bottoms, excessive waves, general water safety, and general enforcement for all types of watercraft. Everyone comes into any discussion with some slant, whether they are a pontooner, a wake boater, a water skier, an angler, a kayaker, a snowboarder. However, what I have noticed is there seems to be one common interest by all to do what is best for the lake and our environment. The board's mission should be to bring all of these groups together to discuss meaningful solutions for the overall concern at hand. We have multiple lakes in our town and surrounding communities, and the board should consider carefully what lakes to include in this committee. It is extremely hard to believe that most of the winter has been spent by groups digging in and demanding their desired outcome instead of reaching across the aisle and attempting to find a middle ground. We have seen groups of otherwise soft-spoken individuals be forced to come forward to defend their position. Please take action to remove this discussion from the regular town board meeting setting. I think it consumes a lot of people's time. And force these individuals into a more constructive process to hopefully resolve this issue and present multiple possible solutions. There are manufacturer and advocacy organizations that have pledged to fight this in court. You heard the gentleman talk about it. Of course, he's saying no one has been sued yet. Is it really prudent to take a strong position either way, possibly subjecting the town to potential lawsuits without going through such an extensive process? And I think a committee could take care of that and not subject everybody into that. And if there's public hearings for those people to come to, that committee could hear those and come with a solution. And I guess at least get these people talking in a room together instead of bickering across the podium. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Robert Church, W1187 Beach, ACH Road, East Troy. Today I received the following. Ms. Church, there comes a time in everyone's lives when they decide to choose another professional. H. Ms. Church, I think you can see the handwriting on the wall. You need to resign from the town board regardless of your personal feelings and emotions. The town board will be taking a new direction. Directions that you will feel very upset with. And I feel for your bodily health emotionally. My very frank advice is resign. I am not threatening any physical harm, any harm to you or your being or family. Get on board the new train that is sweeping through the town. Signed, John Tyson. So publicly, my response to Mr. Tyson or anyone else who feels that they need to harass, bully, or threaten. I than 30 years as a middle school educator. I have survived bullying in ways you can't imagine. Do not underestimate me. I have honorably served the constituents of this community with honesty, integrity, and transparency. I do my homework. I try to do what's best for the whole town. I have given the town my best effort. I am on the ballot for the April 1st, 2025 election, running unopposed. The constituents who see my work will decide if I should be elected. If the electoral shift is going to be based on threats and intimidation, I do hope the residents of this town take that into consideration as they cast their vote. As in any election, those who serve are chosen by the majority. With that said, I thank you for your vote. I am not resigning. Final call. Any further public comments? With that, I close, sorry. My bad.
Aaron Meyer, N 7264 Hobo Road. Election time of year again this year, and with that in mind, there will be another candidate forum, as we did last year. It'll be March 13th at the Montego Baptist Church. All the candidates that are on the ballot have been invited. Some said yes, some said no. Anyone that said no is still welcome if their situation changes. Please consider attending, ask questions either in person or anonymously. We plan to post last year's forum, so that anybody that wants to see it, they see March 13th, Montego Baptist Church.
What time, Larry?
I'm sorry, 6:30.
Thank you.
And where's that church located again?
It's 5 minutes from here. You go out there,
No, but
you walk to ES and take a left.
Don't pull and honey up.
Thank you.
Okay, you go up there and take a left. It's like 5 minutes. It's a really good event.
Okay, last call. Anybody else for public comments?
Can I respond to that? Or just make my own public comment? I did receive the invitation, but unfortunately I already have scheduled to be out of state that week. So I will consider preparing at least a statement or some of my opinions, to be shared with that forum.
Thank you.
I have a comment as well. Something else. I wanna make sure that everyone knows that Tyson Leonard and John Tyson are two different people. Just want the public to know, don't get confused. Tyson Leonard, he can work, he won't work.
We'll call you tonight.
Or time, like that.
I hope I didn't.
No, I get, I hear Tyson.
Got it.
Is that what you're doing?
Any final public comments? Hearing none, I close public comments. Number 10, reports of committee, chairman and or supervisor reports. The chairman's activity report was in the agenda. And he also listed his tri-troy accomplishments and the future. Anything else?
Related to his report,
Yes.
the responses for the Beach Road replacement, I see were due on February 7th.
I have full staff along. That you all have to read and score by February 28th.
So are we going to schedule meetings?
Well,
We're going to have to. I'm glad you all have your engineering things.
We'll,
Your civil
we'll
engineering.
have those available for you tomorrow by end of day.
Yeah, and she's gonna make them digital.
And what is the deadline you're putting on?
February 28th is the contractual deadline.
To select the award for the grant money? To award,
I believe,
Cutting it down to 3 or something.
yeah, I believe Mr. Superintendent Shield will help us with, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it's to read through them, score them, and narrow them down to 3.
If I may speak.
Yes.
When I received the resignation letter from Mr. Clarkowski, I told him he needs to turn in his files. And when I specifically mentioned the Beach Road bridge, and that bids have been coming in, he indicated that he would do a detailed memo. I don't know if it's gonna be in steps, but I will reach out if the board wishes me to. He's probably watching, so he knows, the motion to resign was approved. Any one of you can do it, if you don't want me to reach out. Reach out to the chairman and see if he'll have a memo on that particular project available for the board to, review for guidance.
I talked to Joe Karkowski, he will give us a detailed step-by-step, the order on how we have to do it.
right, but he doesn't have like the proposals to
No,
review.
No, he doesn't.
And
So it's just the process that he,
right.
I didn't know that was part of being elected, was to have an engineering degree, Mrs.
You should have read the fine print.
Great, chairman's report. Any other further questions on the chairman's report? Supervisor Church's report is in the packet, any questions on that? Great. Letter B, media and IT, web administrator Olson, for discussion and possible approval of website update proposal.
Are there any questions on what was submitted?
I guess can you give us a little bit of insight? From what I understood, this would upgrade our website, and it would be a cost that we would have to pay anyway in October. So if we approve it now, it would actually be a lot faster process. So that's what I understood.
Is the cost,
Go ahead.
I understood it to be the same, am I understanding that wrong?
Either way, we're gonna have the additional costs. And when I spoke to Jelena, on Friday, she agreed to have all of that baked into the October payment, so we don't have to pay early the $1,200, that would just be added in. But either way, they're going to charge us the $1,200 because we have to upgrade our WordPress.
So the $1,200 is additional.
Correct.
And what are
it's a
some,
one-time.
sorry, what are some of the benefits of moving away from WordPress?
It appears that it's just making it more glitchy and we're having problems with some of the uploads. Like when a packet was uploaded, this last month, Adobe was fighting WordPress and it made it sideways. No idea why, did it, had to rescan, completely delete that file, make a new file, and then it worked. It didn't really make sense, they had to put putz with it on there and make it work. So it's just little things like that, and from what they've said, it'll go smoother, so once you highlight over, like where you go to government now and you have to click on it, you won't have to click on it, you'll just be able to hover, and things like that, that make it just a little bit more user friendly.
By going to it now versus when we pay in October, will we have, I saw the PowerPoint and read the packet. Does that mean that we have the opportunity to play with some of the new materials that are being made available through this process?
Yes, and they offered us to give feedback as well. So if there are things that we like how it's working, or we maybe don't like how it's working, they can kind of work that out, because they're not going live with all of the users until after October. So,
But are we allowed to get out of it before, if we use it now, can we say no in October?
I thought, yeah.
If we didn't like it?
Because I don't believe we're signing the October contract until October, correct?
So we can use it for a few months or 6 months, and if we don't like it, still figure something else out,
Yeah, we
or,
can start investigating.
When we first went with them, it was literally copy and paste.
Yes, I don't know if this has anything to do with WordPress versus the PDFs that you send to me as email attachments. Okay. Some of those come in, wonky.
It's the way it scans. It's the way it scans. We do have another program now that allows us to turn individual pages within a PDF document so that they are all correct orientation. We just have to take time to review that before something is done.
And as we discussed it before, when we first upgraded the website, we struggled with support, but that has improved.
It has, Jared has been in there, talking to most recently, and she responds almost the same day. I usually don't, she's a wait for her, and she's one of the actual designers. So if I type, like, her actual email address plus support, they get it right on.
Is she stateside versus
She is.
offshore?
She is, and most of them have become more stateside, so that's been usually.
So you don't see any disadvantage regarding her,
Not yet.
from what we've heard.
Alright,
Board, do we have pleasure?
I'll make a motion, to approve the website update proposal as presented.
Second?
Hearing a motion from Supervisor Johnner and a second from Supervisor Reyes. Any further discussion?
Do you wanna make that contingent upon review or just this email is the proposal?
They have an entire package.
No, but this is-
Okay, I don't have that.
I don't have that either.
No, it was in your mailbox, it came after you guys picked up packets. So it's in your mailbox.
So, are we discussing now?
Yeah, we're in discussion.
So what is this, I just wanna understand, are you making a motion to approve and go ahead and pay for this now?
We don't have to pay until like,
Not until October.
They're gonna do the update,
Just
And
do
we
the
can
update.
and we're gonna play with it, and then we'll decide.
Yeah. Then if we don't like it, we can move off of it. It's kind of a win-win for everyone. It's gonna make their jobs easier and, it's a good thing.
I think it might be more interactive or easier interaction with the public, yes.
I think so, and I like just having the feedback, because then we have their ear and we can get those things in and we work better for us. Did you want this?
This one's.
Here, I'll do it back.
I don't have.
No,
I just wanted to look at it.
I handed it to
I didn't have the map, I don't have this.
Jim,
I don't know what's happening.
everything I saw.
So, we have a motion on the floor and a second to go ahead to authorize, Ms. Olson to go ahead and initiate the update and to practice it so that we have a better conceptual idea of whether to approve this purchase in October. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let us know how it goes. All right, Department of Public